You have to demand more from your body than it's used to giving. Hey guys, I'm Jake McCord, and today I want to share some game-changing tips on how to build muscle faster, especially for us guys over 50. And look, I get it. This stuff can feel incredibly frustrating. It frustrates me too, honestly, because I'm approaching what feels like my genetic ceiling. Adding more muscle at this point would require me to go absolutely extreme, and I already train pretty hard as it is. I follow every single tip I'm about to share with you today. But here's the thing. If you're just getting started, or even if you've been at this for 6 months or a couple of years, these 4 strategies are going to accelerate your muscle gains way beyond what you're currently experiencing. All right. Tip number 1 is probably going to catch you off guard. Most of you are expecting me to dive straight into exercise techniques, right? Well, I'm throwing you a curveball here because the first tip is actually about your nutrition, specifically your protein consumption. Here's the science behind it. When we train, we're deliberately tearing muscle fibers apart. We're creating intentional damage in the gym. That's how growth happens. But those muscles need raw materials to rebuild themselves. They need protein. And here's what most guys miss. The repair process doesn't happen in an hour. It takes 2 to 3 days. So downing a protein shake right after your workout and calling it good? That's not how this works. Those damaged fibers need a steady stream of protein over the next 48 to 72 hours while they're regenerating and coming back slightly bigger and slightly stronger than before. The challenge is figuring out how much protein you actually need and then consistently hitting that number. Here's a solid guideline. Take your ideal body weight, not your current weight if you're carrying extra pounds. So if you're sitting at 250, but you know deep down you'd feel great at 200, use 200 as your baseline. Now multiply that number by 0.7. That gives you your daily protein target in grams. For a 200-pound ideal weight, that's 140 grams of protein every single day. Are you hitting that? Most guys have absolutely no idea how much protein they're actually consuming. And the reality is, most aren't even close to that 140 mark. It's harder than you think. That's why I recommend tracking your food for just a day or two. Write down everything you eat on a typical day, then use one of the free nutrition apps to calculate your protein intake. You might be shocked at the gap between what you need and what you're getting. If you're not consuming at least 0.7 grams per pound of ideal body weight consistently, your muscle growth is going to crawl along at a fraction of its potential. Fix your nutrition first. Tip number 2 brings us back to the gym, and this one is critical. You need to make absolutely certain you're using proper form on every single exercise. But let me be more specific about what I mean by proper form. I'm talking about developing a real mind-muscle connection. Maybe you've heard that phrase before, but it means different things to different people. When I talk about mind-muscle connection, I mean stop thinking about moving the weight from point A to point B. Instead, focus entirely on feeling the target muscle contract. Let me use bicep curls as an example since it's easy to visualize. When I curl, I'm not thinking about lifting the dumbbell. I'm thinking about my bicep shortening and squeezing. It might sound like a subtle distinction, but try it. Sometimes when I'm really pushing hard, I actually close my eyes because I'm concentrating so intensely on that contraction. I'm visualizing the muscle fibers firing and pulling together. The other aspect of form involves weight selection. Too many guys load up more than they can handle properly. What happens? Instead of feeling the muscle work, you end up just heaving the weight up using momentum and your lower back. That kills your results. Yes, you'll still build some muscle, but nowhere near as fast as you could with controlled, focused reps. Now, every exercise has 2 phases. There's the concentric phase where you're lifting the weight and shortening the muscle. That's what everyone focuses on, but there's also the eccentric phase, the lowering portion, where the muscle lengthens under tension. Most guys just let gravity take over and drop the weight. That's a massive mistake. Some research actually suggests the eccentric portion is even more important for muscle growth than the concentric. So when you're doing a chest press and lowering those dumbbells back toward your chest, that part matters just as much. Control the weight the entire time. Feel every inch of every rep. I have a training partner who's 30 years younger than me, a Marine, strong as an ox. A couple years back he hit a wall, couldn't seem to make any more progress despite training hard. Know what changed everything for him? He dropped the weight on every exercise and started focusing purely on form and muscle engagement. Full range of motion on every rep, really concentrating on feeling his lats fire during pull-downs, feeling his chest squeeze during presses. The transformation was incredible. The guy absolutely exploded, got bigger and stronger than ever before. Form really is king. Tip number 3 is rest and recovery. When you train with proper form and intensity, you're creating significant damage to those muscle fibers. Your body needs time to repair them. It takes roughly 2 to 3 days for muscles to fully recover and rebuild. Your body is smart. It knows to make those fibers slightly bigger and slightly stronger so they can handle future stress. But as we age, recovery takes longer. Everything takes longer to heal when you're in your 50s and 60s compared to when you were 20. That little cut on your hand takes forever to close up. Same principle applies to muscle tissue. You need adequate sleep, 7 to 8 hours minimum, and that needs to be consistent. You can't get 5 hours 3 nights a week and think you're fine. Here's something else most people don't realize. The critical hormones for muscle building, testosterone and human growth hormone, are primarily produced while you sleep. That's when your body manufactures the majority of these powerful compounds. Shortchange your sleep and you're sabotaging your hormone levels, which directly impacts your body's ability to build muscle efficiently. You can still make gains, but you might be operating at 50% of your potential simply because you're not recovering properly. The fourth and final tip is the one nobody wants to hear: intensity. This is absolutely essential. Too many guys, especially as we get older, just coast through their workouts, same weight week after week, same reps, same sets, same effort level. You have to push beyond your comfort zone. Here's what that means practically. When you're targeting 10 reps on an exercise, you need to select a weight that's heavy enough that by rep 10, you're completely gassed. You should be within 1 or 2 reps of absolute failure. If someone held a gun to your head after that 10th rep, you could maybe squeeze out 1 or 2 more. Maybe. That's the intensity level you need. You don't have to train to complete failure like competitive bodybuilders do. But you need to get close. It has to hurt. Remember the saying, no pain, no gain? This is exactly what it means. If you finish a set feeling comfortable, you left gains on the table. How do you increase intensity over time? Several options. Lift heavier weight, or lift the same weight for more reps, or keep reps the same but add another set. Mix these approaches up. Challenge yourself constantly. Your muscles only grow when you force them to adapt to new demands. Otherwise, they just maintain their current size because there's no reason to change. These 4 tips, solid nutrition, proper form, adequate recovery, and real intensity, they all work together. Miss 1 or 2 and you'll still make progress, but it'll take forever. Nail all 4 consistently and you'll see dramatic results. The guys who implement this stuff day after day, week after week, those are the guys who transform their physiques. Everyone else just plateaus and wonders why nothing's changing. It starts with deciding you're going to commit. Then progress builds on progress. Small improvements create momentum that leads to bigger improvements. But it only works if you stay consistent. Never give up on yourself.